I was watching a rugby league game on the weekend, and one of the commentators, a guy by the name of Phil Gould, who's a well-respected coach and commentator, made a really interesting comment on the game. He said, "This team has stopped talking. They're in real trouble." And basically that team was, at that particular time, in real trouble. I don't know if you've been down on the sidelines of any sporting event, but generally there's a lot of talk going on, both teams communicating with each other, and it's not random. In fact, it's very structured, and it has a big part to play in how well that team is actually doing. Not only are people talking about their strategy and reacting quickly to situations as they develop, it's used to encourage each other, and in fact it's quite often you will see the teams that are doing well are those that are perhaps communicating a little better than their opponents. How does that really apply in a business situation? There's two things about that type of communication. The first one is it's instant. It's happening instantaneously, and it's reflective of the current situation that that team's facing. The second thing is it's shared universally, automatically across the entire group. So let's just have a look at some of our current forms of communication in business and think about how they might apply. I mean, obviously you've got the team meeting as the first thing. And the team meeting, firstly, isn't instant. Team meeting is normally reflective. It will look back over the past week, perhaps the past 2 weeks or the month, and then it may talk a little bit about how to move forward. Very important, no doubt, but not instant. You might look at things like phone calls and text messaging. Those things are instant, but they're not shared. They're normally one or two people involved. I mean, I know conference calls could involve multiple people, but generally phone and text is just a couple of folks talking to each other. You might look at email, which again usually involves a couple of people, and while it's instant in sending, there's normally, as we all know, a glut of email, and it's very hard to get key messages out of some of that stuff. So shared, kind of, but not to the same degree that we're talking about. So, and then you have, of course, just the casual meeting, the coffee shop meeting, or the water cooler meeting, and those things are generally one or two people, and certainly not shared amongst the team. So, what's the solution to this? Well, I think we should start, and I know a lot of organisations are now starting to look towards social media, things like Facebook and Twitter, which are instant and are instantly shared amongst large groups of people. We started working on this with our internet platform X-Ray some time ago, and we're still learning how to use this. On that platform we've got a thing called a team wall, which allows people to communicate quickly, instantly, to give feedback on current situations developing in the marketplace or in the workplace. If the organisation wants quick feedback on a particular event or a particular product or a particular strategy, you can get that instantly, and it's shared across the entire group. So we're starting to get some good feedback about how that might work. One of the things that we like about it is that it allows people to react quickly to what's happening on the ground. That's the first thing. And if you're trying to execute strategy, you need that feedback instantly and quickly. The second thing is it actually engages the people at the front line a little bit more than most general forms of communication. We had an organisation recently that was struggling with their engagement score, and the team wall wasn't a complete solution, but it did help them improve the level of engagement they had from their people and the engagement score they got with their team. So we think that we haven't solved the issue yet, but we definitely think that social networking and using that in an effective way for business is definitely an opportunity businesses haven't yet nailed. So what's the upshot of this? A couple of weeks ago we talked about Colin Powell and his sort of demand when he was ahead of the Joint Chiefs of Staff to have a noisy organisation, an organisation that was communicating with each other instantly, giving feedback on what's working, what's not, and how can we do things better. That's the sort of organisation we now have the opportunity of creating with the advent of some of these social media tools. If you want to have a look at how we're using it, just jump on the link that's on this particular Express and have a look at X-Ray, and you'll see how we're starting to get some good feedback on some of these things of getting instant messaging and actually sharing it quickly to drive improvement and execute better. Thanks a lot. See you next week.